If you've ever found yourself trapped in a cycle of negative thinking, you're aware that it's as unpleasant as enduring a sandblasting from behind. She's going to leave me. I'll mess up this project. This isn't good enough. These thoughts are starting points for dark rabbit holes. Little by little, they pull you further into their hell. Then, basic human psychology adds gasoline to the fire. Now, let's be honest. How often have you wished you could flip a switch and turn off those negative thoughts, like an annoying noise that suddenly falls silent? Wouldn't that be amazing? But wait, before you dismiss this as mere fantasy, there are indeed methods to control this onslaught of thoughts. Indeed, it's possible for you to steer your mind away from the turbulent seas of negative thinking and guide it towards the calmness of a serene mental state. It's not about banishing these thoughts. That would be like trying to stop the waves of the ocean. It's about understanding them, acknowledging them, and then gently but firmly directing the course, like an experienced captain steering his ship through rough seas. In this video, we will discuss 3 Stoic paths that have been practiced for centuries to deal with negative thoughts and find calm. But to direct the course of negative thoughts, we must first ask ourselves where they come from and why, even after we listen to all the self-help knowledge in the world, we still return into the reality of self-sabotage. This question will help us understand negative thoughts at its core and deal with it once and for all. Let us begin. The only thing I ask of you is to watch this video with intent and patience, and don't skip any chapters. This is where self-sabotage comes from. To effectively tackle negative thoughts, it's essential first to comprehend where they come from. The ego. This can be compared to a good-natured yet somewhat dim-witted cave troll from medieval times, tasked with protecting your mental fortress. It reacts to anything it perceives as a threat, regardless of whether it's a genuine danger or a benign visitor like a traitor. Let me explain what this might look like in real life. Let's assume that someone began their dream business, but they find themselves taking a long time to respond to messages from potential clients who showed interest in working with them. On the other hand, if the messages were from people who seemed dismissive, they would reply quickly. Naturally, this approach made it challenging for them to secure paying clients. One might wonder, why did they inadvertently sabotage their own success? The reason behind this self-sabotage in their business stemmed from a fear of not being able to deliver value. Due to issues with ego, there was an underlying belief that they weren't capable enough. The ego, in an attempt to protect them from potential embarrassment and rejection, preemptively sabotaged their efforts before they could progress further. This self-protection mechanism manifested as a flood of negative thought spirals. Thoughts like, "I can't do this, they aren't a good fit anyway," or "I need to find someone else," dominated their mind, leading to a tendency to avoid making contact altogether. This avoidance was a defense strategy to sidestep facing their fears and perceived inadequacies. If your thoughts say you aren't good enough, it's usually because the ego wants to save you from rejection, failure, and embarrassment. It didn't get the memo that these things are essential parts of life and nothing to be afraid of. The cave troll swings its club at everything in sight. The mind is a superb instrument if used rightly. Used wrongly, however, it becomes very destructive. To put it more accurately, you usually don't use it at all. It uses you. Eckhart Tolle. How to break the ego. To break the mind, you need to go beyond it. It's what spiritual people call becoming the observer. Think about this for a second. If you are able to notice your harmful thoughts, then who is the actual thinker of these thoughts? It's not possible to be both a listener and a speaker simultaneously. By detaching yourself from your mind, you can effectively interrupt its negative cycle. The ability to observe our thoughts without getting caught up in them is the starting point for mindfulness. Mark Williams. The 3 paths to thought's control. 1. The path of the observer. The mind cannot predict itself. In retrospect, your thought process appears logical. A mildly negative thought spirals into more negativity, escalating to severely toxic thinking, culminating in harsh self-criticism. However, if you compel your mind to anticipate what comes next, it gets overwhelmed, giving you the chance to step back and simply observe. So, when you're stuck in a negative spiral, ask yourself, what's my next thought going to be? Then listen. You'll hear nothing but the sound of crickets inside your head. You have derailed the toxic thought train and stepped out of the mind into the role of the observer. Whenever it starts rolling, ask the question again. With every time you do it, you make it harder for the thoughts to get going. The train will burn all its fuel and eventually come to a full stop. You've broken the spiral, all with a single question. 2. The path of positive counter-talk. Imagine you're standing in front of a mirror, ready for the day, and suddenly that little doubt creeps in. You know it, that whispering critic telling you that you can't do something or you're not good enough. But here's the twist. You have the power to whisper back, and with a voice that's 10 times stronger. This is the art of positive counter-talk, a real game changer. It's like a mental sparring match where, for every negative remark, you have a positive comeback ready. Your inner critic says, "You'll never make it." Your inner cheerleader retorts, "I've mastered tougher challenges than this." It's a ping-pong game where positive thoughts win. It's like jogging. It might be tough at the beginning, but the more you do it, the stronger you become. And soon, you'll find that you're sprinting through your day with ease, carried by a wave of positive vibes. So, the next time doubt comes knocking, you know what to do. Open the door, smile, and tell it that today is not a good day for its games. You've got better things to do. If you've made it this far, please consider liking the video and subscribe so that YouTube will show this video to other people who may need the wisdom. Thank you so much. 3. The path of boundary setting. Let's delve into a topic that's a bit tougher to tackle. It's a familiar scenario. Certain thoughts act like unwelcome visitors lounging on your sofa, stubbornly overstaying their welcome. These are the relentless, obsessive thoughts that seem to hijack your mind, replaying the same mental soundtrack on a never-ending loop. This is where the third path comes into play, and it's a doozy. It's the clear declaration, the powerful stop that you shout to your mind. Imagine you're the director in your own head's theater. The script, it's going off the rails. What do? You call it cut. You stop the scene. You take the liberty to say, "This far and no further." It's a bit like a mental boxing match. The negative thoughts come at you, trying to corner you, but you stand firm, take a deep breath, and deploy your strongest weapon, your resolve. With a clear stop, you show who's the boss of the ring. The great thing is that you can use this technique anytime and anywhere. In the middle of a meeting, at dinner, even while brushing your teeth. It doesn't need a stage, no audience, just you and your will to maintain control. And with its use, you become stronger. You become the master of your thoughts, the guardian of your inner peace. So, the next time your thoughts run wild, remember your power. Raise your hand and say loud and clear, "Stop." You'll be surprised how quickly calmness returns. In conclusion, the journey through our landscape of thoughts, particularly negative ones, is akin to navigating challenging terrain. These thoughts, starting from mild negativity and escalating to intensely toxic self-criticism, are like uninvited guests that can dominate our mental space. However, the key takeaway is the realization of our power over them. By anticipating and understanding these thought patterns, we can disrupt their cycle and assume the role of an observer rather than a victim. This shift in perspective allows us to not only recognize these invasive thoughts, but also to actively counteract them with stronger, positive affirmations. Acknowledging our ability to control our response to these thoughts is crucial in breaking free from the repetitive loops of negativity and moving towards a more balanced and healthier mindset. As we have made it to the end of this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to this channel so that our videos will continue to reach more people just like you who also need the wisdom of Stoicism in their lives. Thank you so much.